So, hello, it's a pleasure for me to be here today with you in this wonderful building, and I'm very much looking forward to this conference. So, my name is Alexandra Gerst, I'm a corporate counsel. I work at Microsoft in the Digital Crimes Unit, and in the DCU for Digital Crimes Unit, we are focused on fighting cybercrime. And we do that to protect our customers and to strengthen the trust in Microsoft and in our products and services. And today I would like to provide you with a brief overview of Microsoft's commitment to helping build a safer digital ecosystem. And not only during these current times of crisis, but generally we at Microsoft recognize our opportunity, but also our responsibility to make sure that the technology we create benefits everyone on the planet, as well as the planet itself. And we are convinced that together we can reimagine a better future. Today, I would like to focus on the fourth element that you can see here on the very right of this slide. It is earning trust. So we are committed to earning trust every day. And that, of course, includes cybersecurity, but also other important areas like privacy, digital safety, the responsible use of AI, and transparency. So, when we look at the history's worst cyber attacks, I would like to begin with a story. It was the end of a very long day in the office in November 2020 when Microsoft's president, Brad Smith, received an urgent message from one of Microsoft's top cybersecurity executives, Tom Bird. And what happened is that a piece of network management software from a company called SolarWinds, which thousands of millions of governments and companies around the world are using, had been hacked. So within days, it was an urgent effort that had begun on the Microsoft side to not only track down the origin of the hack, but also to remediate its effects. And it soon emerged that the attack had been conducted by Russian state-sponsored groups that our analysts already knew under the name, codename Nobelium. And thus unfolded what Microsoft now considers to be the worst attack in the worst cyber attack in history so far. And why do we say that? Well, the hack exposed its victims, including leading technology companies and Microsoft itself, to potentially devastating compromise of sensitive data. Fortunately, we at Microsoft had all the required cybersecurity measures in place to prevent us from any loss of data. But what the attack really was, or why the attack was really so bad and far worse than what we have seen in the past, is because it corrupted a piece of civilian infrastructure that governments, corporations, and individuals all over the world rely on. It is the software supply chain. And this is so important because if this chain can be corrupted by hackers, then potentially no software can be safe. So we have seen years now of devastating cyber attacks, so you may be wondering if anything has really changed with these latest attacks such as SolarWinds. And the clear answer is yes. We have crossed a very important threshold. And what is new is really the nature of the target of these cyber attacks. It is fundamental digital infrastructures that underpin modern society. And software and hardware supply chains, hospitals, transportation networks, fuel pipelines, and nuclear power plants are only some of the civilian targets that have suffered really devastating cyber attacks in the last few years. It has become really the new normal that these infrastructures that we all rely on are being attacked by cyber criminals. And when we look at the attackers, there are actually two kinds of groups that are behind virtually all of the major cyber attacks that we are seeing today. On the one hand side, we are facing technically very advanced groups that are sponsored by nation states such as Russia, North Korea, China, and Iran. But on the other side, we also see professional criminal gangs who are usually motivated by money and who may lack the extraordinary resources that these nation-state actors may have. But these criminal gangs are still highly sophisticated. And according to the security firm McAfee, the loss or the total loss of cybercrime in 2020 was nearly $1 trillion. So it was enormous. And the criminals, they are no longer these self-taught teens or script kiddies as we know them from the past. So they have become much more organized and professional. Actually, when we are working on our cases, we do never see a single adversary on the other side. It's always huge criminal networks that we are going after. So today, the thing is that the criminals can also take advantage of a sophisticated global market where anyone that has just sufficient funds can purchase cybercrime as a service and advanced off-the-shelf hacking tools. So these services and tools make it easy for any wannabe hacker that just has this, criminal energy to rent the expertise of the world's most sophisticated cyber attackers. And the result that we have seen over the last years is an avalanche of ransomware attacks, business email compromise, phishing, and all other types of cybercrime. Unfortunately, and this picture is very blurry, we don't have a lot of time to go into this, and actually this is a video that I wanted to show you, but I had to take some screenshots because the video does not work here. But what I wanted to show you is what the world looks like based on the information that we have gained through our malware disruption cases. And what you're seeing here is the visualization of distinct IP addresses via which infected devices are calling into our Microsoft Azure-based sinkhole. And normally, if the video would run, you would see the globe spinning, and then you can see the areas around the world with spikes indicating a high rate of infections for the different malware threats. And the infections that are featured in this map are aligned to the aggregation points created by local ISPs. So these aggregation points do not reference a specific location like a building or a street, but let me move on. So normally if you're pressing these colored circuits here on the left-hand side, you would see the exact number of distinct IP addresses that are still infected with malware threats that we have disrupted in the past. And here is a screenshot of Hungary, and you can still see that there are huge infections, specifically in Budapest. And what that really suggests is that there are a lot of devices out there that are not sufficiently protected against other cybercrime threats. Microsoft leaders know that more than any other company, we are on the front lines of the global battle against cybercrime. And for this reason, for instance, we have undertaken a large-scale and unique effort to protect civilians in Ukraine from cyber attacks by nation-state-sponsored groups. Our security teams, right from the beginning, have worked very closely with the government to protect the civilians and to address the cyber attacks they were facing. Microsoft's global footprint in cyberspace is really unique. So we have tons of data, cybersecurity relevant data that allows us to get a better understanding of the cyber threat landscape that we are all facing. But we also have a huge network of cloud data centers that currently covers 35 countries and which is still growing. And we understand that our unique role in this global digital ecosystem requires that we really make exceptional contributions to the cybersecurity of all stakeholders in this ecosystem. And therefore, Microsoft has made an unprecedented commitment to invest $20 billion in cybersecurity over the next 5 years. However, cybersecurity for the global digital ecosystem that we all depend on can only be achieved through a very close collaboration among different stakeholders. One company alone cannot fight cybercrime and address the current threat landscape. So it is the governments that are in charge of protecting their nation's economies and security and security. It is huge technology firms, including Microsoft, that have specialized skills and experience, but it is also the largest civil society of all cybersecurity stakeholders that need to come together and join forces in the fight against cybercrime. And just to show you a little bit how we at Microsoft are approaching that issue, and that is really just one piece of the bigger puzzle. So we have our customer security and trust team that is attacking cybersecurity, the cybersecurity challenge through 5 key missions. And for each key mission, there is a specialized team behind it. First, we have the Digital Security Unit, whose mission it is to provide world-class cyber intelligence, not only to Microsoft, but to the global cybersecurity community. And then we have the Digital Crimes Unit that I'm a part of, and we conduct investigations and we take legal actions to disrupt and deter cybercrime. And of course, we cannot do that alone. So we work very closely together with law enforcement authorities around the world in the fight against the criminals. Then we have the Digital Peace team that pursues digital peace through digital diplomacy across many influential multi-stakeholder forums. And our cybersecurity policy team works with governments to modernize cybersecurity policy, but they are also working with Microsoft's own product teams to ensure that our products are compliant. And last but not least, we have the law enforcement and national security team, and they respond to government requests for data, but they also work on to reform the government access to data. And in closing, let me say that at Microsoft we are very proud of the work that we do to help protect the safety of the world's digital infrastructure and the security of our customers' data against cyber attacks and cybercrime. But we know that this is really a long-term effort with incredibly high stakes that will require unprecedented level of cooperation among the governments, among the technology industry, and the organizations and individuals who depend on the safe functioning of the world's digital ecosystem. And our commitment to advancing cybersecurity is really strong. And for sure, a proof of that is our commitment to invest the $20 billion to strengthen tools, technologies, and processes for defending against cybercrime and cyber attacks. And our commitment to work to protect cybersecurity through a very close partnership is even stronger. So in the months and years ahead, we look forward to learning from you and to sharing what we learn with you as we all join together in the critical effort to achieve digital peace. And one important piece of this is the Microsoft Government Security Program, which provides participants with confidential security information and also resources they need to trust Microsoft's products and our services. And this program, or the participation of this program, also enables access to important information, threat and vulnerability information, as you have seen on the slide with the different pings of infections, that will help governments better prepare for their cybersecurity strategy. And we want the governments of the world to know that Microsoft is committed to doing more to detect cyber attacks, to defend against them, and finally to disrupt the ability of the attackers to continue perpetrating victims. And let me finish with this last slide. I love this slide. I think it is so important that it is the basic cybersecurity measures that we can all apply that will protect us against 98% of the attacks that we are seeing out there. And I think if we all do that, we definitely make the lives of the criminals a bit harder, and I think that's definitely worth it. Thank you very much.